These are creepy TikToks that will make you rethink your whole reality.
An Indonesian pop star died on stage after she was bitten by the king cobra she was dancing with. Instead of seeking medical help, she continued performing for 45 minutes before succumbing to the snake's venom. In 1986, a Soviet pilot made a bet with his co-pilot that he could land the plane without being able to see. So he curtained up all the cockpit windows and ended up losing the bet, since he crashed and killed 70 out of the 94 passengers on board.
In the span of 25 years, the Bean family killed 1,000 people.
In 2014, two teenage girls lured their friend into the woods. They stabbed their friend about 19 times to appease Slenderman.
I'm back, it's your boy Fittie to the E, and today we're looking at this compilation together, so grab your water, your popcorn, your ice cream, whatever you want. Just remember to subscribe and like the video so it can get pushed to way more people. The like goal for this video is 500 likes. Y'all have been killing it. We've been hitting 1,000 likes almost consistently for like the last week. This goal is just 500. If you guys like the chain, check the link down below. 99% of these chains are free for a limited time only. We also added sunglasses to the website, so if you guys like sunglasses like this, all different kinds of sunglasses, check the link down below. I just want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Miss Joanne Fortier for the $2 donation. I received this probably like 2 days ago. I just didn't make a video yesterday, so thank you for the $2 donation. I know you say you and your son have been watching my videos, and I really appreciate the support, so thank you for that. And I also want to give a big shout out to Wintertime for the $2 donation. Thank you for the donos. If you want to get a video shout out, just click on the super thanks down below and you will be in this segment of my videos. Yes!
This analog horror game is the stuff of nightmares. Let's talk about a horror game called Recognition Test 23. Full playthrough of this and 2 other mystery horror games right here. This game acts as a disturbing questionnaire of sorts. Some exercises may ask you a question about how a certain creepy image makes you feel, while other exercises may ask you to find a human being in an image where there seemingly isn't one. But what do the images I've shown you so far have in common? The company administering the test is called the Hidden Eyes Corp. And if you'll notice, each of the figure's eyes in the questionnaire images have been blocked out. In fact, some of the questions in the test will just straight up ask you to identify eyes. Why are the eyes hidden? Why is the Hidden Eyes company so obsessed with them? And what does this mean for you?
Now that's kind of weird. Ew. Bro, what I'm trying to figure out is why would you need that? Because at first I was like, it might have been the head of a mannequin, but I was like, a mannequin face does not look like that. Survive, you must stay quiet. Why she got a bell with her? I don't even know if that's even a her. Don't ring it. Oh, no. Man, could you imagine being in that room under that bed, seeing that? Yeah, someone's getting hurt, and it's not gonna be me.
This woman's murder inspired the creation of the 911 system. Catherine Susie Genovese, or better known as Kitty, was a 28-year-old bar manager. She lived in the Queens area of New York City and lived with her girlfriend, Mary Ann Zielonko.
New York, New York.
And I might have pronounced her last name wrong. Please forgive me and correct me in the comments. Since she was a bar manager and a small-time bookie, she would often return home very late from work. On March 13th of 1964 at about 2:30 a.m., Kitty was driving home from the bar that she was working at. Kitty returned to her home, parked her car, and then started walking to her front door. She was about 100 feet away when she was attacked by a man named Winston Mosley. Winston stabbed Kitty twice in the back, and that's when Kitty yelled out, "Oh my God, he stabbed me, help me, help me." Winston would kill Kitty that night, and 2 weeks later, the New York Times would write an article titled, "37 Who Saw Murder Didn't Call the Police." In the article, it stated for more than half an hour, 38 respectable, law-abiding citizens in Queens watched a killer stalk and stab a woman in 3 separate attacks in Kew Gardens. No one person telephoned the police during the assault. One witness called after the woman was dead. Kitty's case would inspire what we now know as the bystander effect. The bystander effect suggests that people in a crowd are less likely to interfere in a crime than a single eyewitness. So I'm sure you've heard before, but there have been many people that have said that if you ever need help and there is a group of people standing around you, it is more efficient to point at a single person and say, hey, you call the cops, than say somebody call the cops. And that's what is known as the bystander effect. The article went on to say that while these people did witness the crime, a lot of them thought that it was a DV situation going on and they just didn't want to get involved. But the thing is there were never 38 witnesses. And there were, in fact, several people who tried to help Kitty during the attack. One of Kitty's neighbors, Robert Mosier, heard the attack happening. He walked outside and saw Kitty on her knees with a man looming over her. Robert screamed at the man saying, hey, get out of here, what are you doing? He then watched the perpetrator flee and he saw Kitty get up and walk away.
Nah, that bystander effect is a real thing. No one wants to be known as a witness, so everyone's like, oh, well, no one else is helping her. Why am I gonna help her? Then they just keep walking. That's scary though. If you ever need help, just call out to one person, be like, yo, you call the cops. They walk away. My bad, bro, it's over.
Do you have a video of Slenderman? I think I might have found one. I'm gonna play the video for you guys and then we're gonna talk about it.
Oh, y'all see that?
Slenderman is a 6 to 10 feet tall entity. He has no face at all and he's usually seen wearing a suit. Oftentimes he has tentacles coming out from behind him. He's usually hiding out in dark forests and his main target are little children. In 2014, 2 teenage girls lured their friend into the woods. They stabbed their friend about 19 times to appease Slenderman. Luckily, the girl that got stabbed was able to crawl to the road and to safety. She took 6 days in the hospital and fully recovered. The 2 girls that stabbed her were found not guilty.
What?
Instead, they decided to put them in a mental institution, one for 25 years and the other for 40 years. Last I heard, one of them will be released early and monitored until the age of 37. The stab wounds were at the heart, the liver, the diaphragm, and the stomach. One of the girls claimed that Slenderman is known to cause amnesia and paranoid behavior in individuals. Because of this, they assumed that she was schizophrenic and that's why she got off the hook. I'm just glad her classmates survived. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below and what you want.
Bro, I heard about that Slenderman story so many times about these girls luring their friend into the woods and then stab. I didn't know that they got found not guilty. Yo, that's crazy. And they've got to be monitored for like years, like 15 plus years. That's crazy. I really wonder what it takes to lure your friend into the woods just to eliminate them for a game.
The Dumbest Ways to Die, Part 11. In 2016, an Indonesian pop star died on stage after she was bitten by the king cobra she was dancing with. Instead of seeking medical help, she continued performing for 45 minutes before succumbing to the snake's venom.
Gosh.
In 1849, 79 people died when a bridge collapsed as a result of overcrowding in Norfolk, England. The crowd had apparently gathered to watch a clown in a bathtub being pulled up a river by 4 geese. In 2013, a 30-year-old woman from New Zealand died as a result of cardiac arrhythmia. Turns out it was linked to her habit of drinking 2.5 gallons of Coca-Cola every day. In 1797, Persian King Aga Muhammad Khan ordered the executions of 2 of his servants for being too loud. But since it was a religious holiday, he postponed their executions until the next day and made them return to their duties. That night, they murdered the king in his sleep. In 1986, a Soviet pilot made a bet with his co-pilot that he could land the plane without being able to see. So he curtained up all the cockpit windows and ended up losing the bet, since he crashed and killed 70 out of the 94 passengers on board.
All right, now, why would you do that? As a pilot, why would you close the curtain so you can't see the landing? Loki gets me mad for those 70 passengers that died and the other, like, 20 that got injured, bro.
When mentioning Ed and Lorraine Warren, your mind probably goes to the Annabelle doll. But did you ever hear of the satanic idol that they have at their Warren Occult Museum? In 1991, a young hunter is walking through the woods in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. As he's looking for deer, he begins to get deeper and deeper into the woods when he suddenly comes across something odd. He stops dead in his tracks when he sees a formation of rocks that are in a circle, and in the middle of that circle is a 6-foot-tall ceramic figure. He doesn't know
6 foot is a lot.
All he knows is he's deep in the woods, he's alone, and he feels very uncomfortable and very uneasy. Unlike a stereotypical horror movie, he has enough common sense to turn around and go back to his car. Because something about this figure just to him isn't right, so he begins to walk quickly back. Mind you, throughout this entire time, he has seen nobody in the woods, so as he's walking back, he is very surprised when he suddenly sees an old man in the distance starting to approach him. And this old man doesn't look friendly, he doesn't look like he's just going for a hike in the woods. Instead, he recalls that the man looks like he's in his 70s. He has a white beard and he has white hair. And he begins to silently walk alongside the young hunter. To make matters even more creepy, he's dressed in head-to-toe black. The hunter is
on a hot summer day.
And after a few minutes of quietly walking, he finally turns to the man and says, "How do I get out of here?" And then without a word, the man points to the right. The old man then begins to walk away slowly. The hunter follows that direction and gets to his car. He goes home, he tells his friends about what just happened. He's freaked out. And they say to him, "Well, why don't you call Ed Warren? I mean, they live right in Connecticut." Sandy Hook is only about 19 minutes away from where the Warrens live in Monroe. He reaches out to the Warrens and Ed meets him on the road. And from there, the hunter says, "I'll show you where this figure was if you want to come with me." Together, the hunter and Ed go back into the woods, and he leads him to the same spot of where this figure was. And along the way, he begins to tell Ed about this odd experience that he had with the old man right after he discovered this. Ed goes to know exactly who that old man is. He is a local satanic priest of a cult. And once Ed sees the figure in the woods himself, he knows it's a satanic worship idol. He doesn't want to leave it in the woods, so he takes it home to his museum. And then 3 days later at their home, a warning attack happens on Lorraine.
Man, I'm trying to figure out, if you know that thing is a cult or a haunted statue, why would you bring it back to your crib? Why would you want to bring it back to your house? Like, what do you think was going to happen? It was just going to be there and it's like, oh, look what I got. Like, no.
There's a dark secret to why we celebrate our birthdays. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory or if it's true, but it blew my mind. So according to the stories and what I've heard, is you know how we chant, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you." Well, chanting that is actually a ritual against us.
What?
Oh, these noodles taste like your mom's booty. And you know how I like your mom's booty. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out though. You notice how happy birthday is like a chant. You light the candles, turn off a light, you all get in a circle, you start chanting, and then you blow out the candles. Tell me that's not portraying a ritual experience. Now let me tell you what I heard the ritual does. But first, what month and day were you born? Let me know down below. I want to know what sign you are. Me, I was born August 29th,
I'm an Aquarius.
And I'm a Virgo. Anyways, it is said that when we do that, it's a ritual that's sealing our fate to grow older. And that's why some people believe that people who don't celebrate their birthdays tend to look younger than they actually are.
I was born February 4th and I'm an Aquarius, but I don't know if celebrating your birthday is really a ritual, but I guess it could be. What do you think about that? Also put your sign down below. I'm kind of interested to see what month and day you guys were born and what sign are you?
So this was uploaded to Reddit with the caption, "Hobby Lobby has a lot of explaining to do," and apparently Hobby Lobby has a crap ton of Baphomet and demon-like statues just on the shelves right now. Which is really confusing because Hobby Lobby is a super Christian-based company. I zoomed in on some of the price tags though, and they do have pound symbols next to them, so it's got to be somewhere in Europe, but I don't know. I don't go to Hobby Lobby a lot. I don't know if these are being sold in America as well, but they're pretty crazy looking. So to my avid Hobby Lobby goers, have you seen these in your stores? Just these hardcore Baphomet statues on every shelf. What do you think about this? Like, what's your opinion on all this? Because I mean, this last one is, look at.
I know she said it's in like England or Europe or somewhere like that, but I'm not gonna lie, that got me thinking about how the Western world has been pushing these demonic things onto us, and mostly onto the kids, because it's like, you guys, have y'all seen Doja Cat? Like, what is she doing? Like, look at this. What is she doing? Why are we pushing these demons onto the world? Like, what are we trying to do? Like, what's going on?
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory.
On Christmas Day in 1929, Charlie Lawson would murder his wife, 6 of his 7 children, and take his own life. This photo shows a nice large family vacationing in Sweden in the 70s. The kid in the brown shirt, however, is a 14-year-old boy named Osama. Years later, Osama bin Laden founded the pan-Islamic militant group Al-Qaeda and was responsible for the 9/11 attacks.
Damn.
This is the last known photo ever taken of comedian Robin Williams. It was captured October 8th, 2014, just one day before he took his own life. This rare picture shows a man playing with kids in his neighborhood. If you don't recognize him, this is one of America's most infamous serial killers, Ted Bundy.
This photo shows Michael and Susan Kuhnhausen after being married for 18 years. In 2006, Michael hired a hitman to kill his wife.
I'm not gonna lie, the Robin Williams ones always confused me. I mean, I was a lot younger when he ended up passing away, but it really got you thinking, because I remember watching him on like Miss Doolittle and other like comedy things, and he looked like a genuinely happy guy. And it's kind of crazy to think that even through all the wealth, the fame, the status, the resources, doesn't matter. If you're depressed, if you're not happy with your current situation, the stress is too unbearable, they just end up taking themselves, you know. I really wonder what he was going through.
Stop what you're doing, there is more breaking news in archaeology. Archaeologists in Germany have uncovered an over 3,000-year-old sword. The person who made the sword, who would have been a smith, was highly skilled, and we know that because this is an octagonal sword. Now, the sword doesn't have any wear and tear, which means it may have been used for ritual, ceremonial purposes. But just because it doesn't appear to have been used yet, we don't know for sure, and it may have been used by a warrior. And the reason the experts think this may be the case is because the center of gravity at the end of the sword seems to be effective for actual combat. Now, the sword was found in a funerary context in the tomb of a man, a woman, and a child. The experts have not been able to yet determine if they were related, but it does appear they were buried in very quick succession. It is believed these people belong to the Urnfield culture, who were a Bronze Age people who made incredible advances into armory and metalworking. Swords like this were only made in very few places in Germany at the time, one locally and one in the north, so hopefully further analysis could shed light onto where it was made and who by. Finding a Bronze Age artifact is absolutely incredible, but what makes this find even more rare and exciting is that this area of Germany has often had tombs looted, so this is really an exciting find.
I wonder why people just loot tombs. Like, what do you expect to find? Dead body, bones? I mean, with this one, they found a sword, so that's kind of cool, but I feel like a mass majority of grave sightings are just bodies and bones.
Shocking facts about history's serial killers. Part 1. In the John Wayne Gacy case, there were so many bodies crammed underneath the house that the bodies melted together. Jeffrey Dahmer gave the people in his apartment building sandwiches that could have possibly been made from his victims' flesh.
Disgusting.
Robert Hansen, nicknamed the Butcher Baker, was an American serial killer who would abduct his victims, release them into the wilderness, and then hunt them down like animals. Richard Kuklinski killed a man and left his body in an oil drum outside of a diner just to see how long it would take for someone to investigate. Ted Bundy worked at a crisis hotline center in Seattle alongside author Ann Rule.
In honor of Father's Day, here are some morbidly wholesome facts about dads. In 2015, a Texas father saved his son's life when doctors wrongly declared him brain dead and wanted to take him off life support. He barricaded the hospital with a gun and had a 3-hour standoff with a SWAT team until his son squeezed his hand.
Wow.
His son went on to make a full recovery. This awesome dad got a tattoo of his son's cancer surgery scar to show him that there's nothing to be ashamed of. In 2012, a Texas father beat his 5-year-old daughter's molester to death. But a grand jury declined to indict the man because they decided that he was justified in using deadly force to protect his daughter. This amazing father designed some shoes to give his paralyzed daughter the sensation of walking for the first time. A gay man from Italy named Luca Trapanese adopted a baby girl with Down syndrome after more than 20 families rejected her. Being a single gay man, he was told by social services that he would only be given a child with an illness or disability. He was later quoted saying, "When I first held her in my arms, I was overcome with joy and felt that she was my daughter right away."
Man, those were some W cases we heard. That's fire. The dad with the tattoo scar, that's amazing, bro. I'm not gonna lie though, the one where he beat his daughter's like molester or whatever to death, I'm happy they didn't sentence that man to prison or jail time. That's justifiable.
Let's talk about one of the most disturbing episodes of Mujer Casus de la Vida Real. This is your final warning. This episode is extremely depressing, okay? I'm like twice as depressed after this. And if you don't know, Mujer Casus de la Vida Real is a Mexican TV show from the 1980s that depicts real-life disturbing incidents. This episode is called Cruz de Fuego. It is possibly one of the most visually disturbing episodes that I have seen, and the story itself is very sad and unfair. But this episode is about this married older couple that have 2 kids, and it starts off with them being at the dinner table, but the wife is missing. And the dad starts to complain, and just listen to how he talks, okay?
¿Por qué no me sirve tu madre, Adela?
Fue a encenderle un cirio a la Virgen de las Aguas.
Una mujer decente debe estar en su casa.
Hoy podía los manzanos y
Las calles están llenas de hombres. Y ella ya tardó mucho.
Solo fue a la iglesia.
Arrear con mujeres es como arrear con marranos. Solo entienden a palos.
So he's very misogynistic. He's very like, wife has to be at home, wife has to cook, wife has to do everything for me. But then we cut to the wife, and it turns out she's at the police station filing a report against her husband, of course.
¿Qué la trae por aquí, doña Ana?
Vengo a poner una denuncia.
But then the cop says this to her.
Son asuntos de hombre y mujer. Como le digo, sea usted más suavecita, más femenina.
Yeah, so she goes back home and the husband is pissed. And then he like hurts her and she ends up at the hospital and her son says this to her.
Tu padre, la muerta seré yo.
Pues dicen mis hermanos que mejor eso a ser hijos de una divorciada. Todos en el pueblo se burlan de mi padre.
Guys, it gets worse, okay? As she's seeking divorce from him, the lawyer informs them that they have to split the house half and half. So later, she comes home, and this happens.
Chillo, lo que toca lo amarga.
Podrías tener más respeto a tu casa.
Respeto, dices.
How the hell that nigga pulling bushes?
Por eso traje estas señas, para festejar el divorcio.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, but she ends up being on a talk show and talks about her experiences with her abusive ex-husband. Everyone in the pueblo sees this, including the ex-husband, and he's so pissed that he ties her to a cross and does this.
Bruh, I don't like that dude. Yo, that dude is weird.
Soy muy hombre! Soy muy hombre!
Yeah, that's how you know you're not manly, if you gotta say you're manly and then cry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I literally can't show you the scene because it does show that. But yeah, that's how it ends. There's no happy ending. What's the lesson here, Silvia?
Bro, that Spanish one was absolutely terrible. I'm trying to figure out how that dude even pulled her to begin with. I just remember at the start he was like, she's gonna be out with other men. Why is she not home? And then he just comes home with 2 other women in front of her daughter and something. Like, what? Men like him are weird, bro. You could tell like that dude is just highly insecure and he just doesn't know what he's doing with his life. And that's just a sad dude, man. If you're a woman watching this, be careful of men like that. They are sad.
Can you do a video about the screams of hell? Yes, I can. At the end of this, I'm going to show you guys an audio recording of the screams from hell from this hole. In the 1980s, a group of scientists from Siberia were digging a hole and they went very deep. The scientists apparently dug down 9 miles deep or 14 kilometers. The drill started rotating wildly. One of the scientists reported temperatures of 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And they put a microphone down there and this is what they heard. Everyone claimed that those are the souls of the damned screaming. I will say at the end here that this story was debunked. The actual story was the Russian Kola Peninsula. They dug about 7 or 8 miles there, and the temperatures reported were about 180 degrees, not 2,000. And they did not hear any screaming. This is just a really scary urban legend. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below and what you want to see next.
All right, well, that makes more sense because I was like, bro, you telling me hell is just 17 miles under our surface? I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure oceans go deeper than that, but...
Did you know The Hills Have Eyes was based on a real family? This is a warning. History was a very dark place, and if you've got a squeamish stomach or you just can't handle that kind of stuff, then I would recommend you probably just keep scrolling. Sonny Bean was a man who lived in the late 15th century and was a tanner by trade. He later moved to Ayrshire, Scotland, I really hope I'm saying that right, once he married his wife. Now for some weird reason, him and his wife decided that they were going to make their new home inside a cave. This cave had tunnels leading out of it that actually stretched to a mile long. For a while, they didn't make very much money, so her husband actually started robbing people that would come by the trail near their cave. At first, that seems pretty simple enough. There were lots of villages that were close by and roads that actually frequently connected the villages, so there were people that passed by a lot. But this actually ended up getting him a little worried, and he thought that if he wasn't more careful, people would start to be able to trace the crime back to him. So, how does he solve this problem? Well, he starts to murder them. But then there came the problem of what to do with the bodies. So he has another brilliantly twisted idea and decides, well, why not just eat them?
What?
So he and his wife started to eat all of these people that he would end up robbing. And as time passed, they ended up actually having children of their own. In total, they had 14 children, and they raised these children on the same diet that they had. If that wasn't disturbing enough, as their children started to grow older, they started to mate with each other. This went on for 2 decades. The missing persons case that resulted from this literally is the longest list of missing person cases that the authorities have ever had. Massive search parties were going off for the people that had been going missing, but nobody seemed to make it to this cave. Until one day this family made a grave mistake. The Bean family, which now consisted of multiple generations, decided to attack this couple, and by the time they got to the husband, a bunch of people were actually returning back from the village fair, and for the first time ever, they were actually outnumbered. When this case went to authorities, it actually was so severe that King James I himself came down to this area and actually brought a small army of 400 men. And with that started the largest manhunt that Scotland has ever seen. But at first, they still couldn't find them until finally some tracker dogs tracked down their scent at the entrance to their family cave. Wow. King James's small army fought the family, and there were actually now 48 of them. Their crimes were so horrible that the king himself sentenced them to death. In the span of 25 years, the Bean family killed 1,000 people.
Man, that is ridiculous. He killed that many people and ate their bodies. That's disgusting. That's nasty, bro. You know what really gets me mad? How are you broke as hell that you gotta rob and kill people to eat them, but yet you have all the strength to reproduce? This man had multiple kids, and then those kids started freaking themselves. Bro, that's such a weird story, man. So odd. They low-key deserve that death penalty.
So you want to play the dangerous game of red door, yellow door?
Nah,
then
I'm good.
Listen closely. First, you need 2 people. One will be the guide, and the other will be the explorer. The guide's job is to lead the game, while the explorer is the player who will explore their mind. Here are the steps to start the game. The guide sits down with their legs crossed and places a pillow on their lap. The explorer lies down with their head on the guide's lap, lifts their arms, and closes their eyes. The guide gently rubs the explorer's temples in circles and starts chanting red door, yellow door, any other color door. This chant helps the explorer go into a relaxed state. When the explorer sees doors in their mind, they lower their arms. That's when the game starts. Now the guide leads the explorer through the game by asking them questions about what they see. For example, the guide can ask, "What do you see?" or "Can you describe the room?" One important thing to remember, the explorer should always be honest when answering the guide's questions. This helps the guide understand what the explorer is seeing and experiencing. There's no real end to the game. You can stop playing when you want to, but there are some precautions that you need to look out for.
If I'm being honest, I would never play a game like that. I don't know why I would need to. when I could just go play PlayStation, my Xbox? Why am I gonna play a haunting game? Why am I gonna go play a haunting game when I could just go play my PlayStation?
Elon Musk is planning to take over the world, not in an evil way, at least he doesn't seem like that. Elon Musk stated that buying Twitter for nearly $50 billion was just phase 1 of a gigantic master plan. His plan is to create an app that controls everything. Yes, you heard right. From banks to WhatsApp, it should replace it all.
That's not good.
Listen to what he says about his secret plan.
If done right, the X would be would serve people's financial needs to such a degree that over time it would become, I don't know, maybe half of the global financial system.
Man, what I'm trying to figure out is what's up with all these billionaires just trying to control everything, bro. Like, you don't need to control my finances. You already got like space getting under control. You got Neuralink you're coming out with controlling people's brains. Like, bro, hop off. You don't need no more, bro. Chill. But if you guys like the video, please like the video. Remember that these chains are free for a limited time only. So if you guys want to check those out, check the link below. Remember, if you want a video shout out, you can hit the super thanks and you will be put in a segment of my video. My goal for this video is 500 likes, get it to 500. I'm also 500 subscribers off from 10,000, so get me to 10K if you haven't subbed yet. Love you.